Hey everyone, welcome back. I am going to be creating a gradient scale with my local color red. And again, a value scale is just from light to dark, and you can see pretty well how I'm just taking about half of the mixture I created above, dragging it down, and I stop with the light mixture when I get to my middle local color. And I begin again with a fresh paint and black added. You can go all the way down with lights to darks, and those would be your tones, meaning kind of like grays added. But at this moment in time, we kind of want to make everything a little bit more like higher contrast. Right now, it's important for us to get our shadows and our highlights to be a little bit more like opposite ends of the saturate or of the value scale. And then later on, when we add more layers, it will soften. So how I am kind of beginning this is going in and finding my darkest values first, and I'm adding a lot of glaze to my paint. At this first stage, it's not the goal to just like go super heavy. And again, transparent layers are really like how it's going to make this painting look three-dimensional. And think about how we've already added in our blues essentially by just having our background painted in. So now when we're adding our first layer of red, it's kind of interacting with the blues that we've already laid down. But because the paint is dry, we're able to see that it is red. And this is important to note, because it's not necessarily making a purple color, even though some parts may appear more purple than others, but we're able to see the red pretty clearly. And as we know, when you mix red and blue paint together, it makes purple, or violet. But anyhow, because the layers have dried, then we're essentially laying on an additional layer on top. The more transparent that layer of red will be, the more violet it will appear, and the more opaque that red is, the more red it is going to appear. So imagine, like we were talking about transparency before. If you have a blue piece of cellophane, kind of like our background, and a red piece of cellophane, and you just lay them on top of each other and shine them through the light, it will most likely look violet, depending on how saturated they are. Now, if you took a blue piece of cellophane and a red one that had different layers of opacity of red, kind of like what we're doing now, and you laid it on top, then that is similar to what we are doing. Is every time you let a layer dry, it will affect the layer below it, but you get to decide how much. So at the moment in time, like the more, like I know that barn needs to be pretty opaque, so I don't need to add very much gloss glazing liquid to it if I don't want to. Yet, because I added that blue underneath, it does look nice to see all the colors that you're laying down and how they are affected. Okay, at the moment I am using something called a detail brush, which is very small to a point, and it makes it very easy to have control when painting details. And because we laid down a white transfer, adding a transparent layer of color on top of it is going to glow more than if we had it blue. So this is kind of helping us not only know where we need to paint, but it's also helping us create a separate layer of color that is not going to, that we want to pop more because it's such a high value. We have that white underneath, so it just makes it easier to see. In the last class, we were talking about training the eye. So the very first, I would almost say that this is the first like real layer of paint, even though we have the background done. And the reason why is this is the first time we're really thinking about highlights, midtones, and values on our subject. And our subject is our lead woman. And where are we going to have to put highlights to make it appear as though not only is it coming forward, but also light is hitting it. And as I said before, when we create lighter values like our whites and light grays, those are going to make your painting appear to move forward. Grays are somewhere in the middle, and your darker colors will push backwards. But the same thing is true for your colors. So even though this is we have a set palette, it's not going to matter too much about like what colors we're using, because we already know which ones we're going to use throughout the entire piece. But you should know that warmer colors move forward and cooler colors move backwards. And detailed, so if something is more detailed, that will appear closer, and blurriness will appear to move backwards. So by knowing these 3 tricks, it really does help you create something look 3-dimensional, even though you're painting it on a 2-dimensional piece of paper or canvas or whatever you decide to paint on. So we can play with this. We do have warm and we do have cool colors. We have red and we have blue. So not only do we should we think about the lightness and darkness of our values, but the warmness and coolness will also make things appear 3D. Okay, so at the moment I'm using a detail brush to kind of add in specific details around the eyes. In the reference photo that I made, that I composited, I wanted the eyes to be detailed and everything else could be a little bit more blurry. Because first of all, I mean, eyes are what we focus on more than any other part of the face, because it links us to the person that we are looking at. And so especially when we're looking at a painting, when we know that we're not going to be, judged or whatever, portraits are really powerful because you have the ability to look a subject in the eye. And Rembrandt was the king of playing with this, about making the eyes really detailed and everything else kind of blurring out. And so I kind of wanted to use that as a little bit of inspiration as well. She has these eyes that really are, like, it's hard to tell her feelings. Like, it could be kind of like a little bit judgmental, or it could be like, don't come near me. It could be lonely, and that was a subject that I wanted to play with a little bit in this piece, because as I mentioned before, are we coming to the end of this? Oh my gosh, we're at the end. I'll save that thought in the next video. Spray down your palette, wipe it off, and I didn't add too much to too many layers, or too many values to that one, so we'll see how it finishes up in the next video.